Okay, so I figured out the functionality for the transfer case motor connectors. This is sorry, let me get a good focus here. Okay, yeah, so that's the connector. So we're gonna be dealing. Okay, this top one here, it's actually like this, but that's the 5-volt constant supply, which actually we're gonna be feeding it 12 volts. The computer, you know, the stock 4x4, the computer sends 5 volts, and it needs the voltage to be within a certain range for that to work. But since we're doing this, you know, as a modification, and we're doing everything manual with no computer, I'm just going to use the 12 volts, you know, that's coming in from the battery. So I'm going to be supplying 12 volts into this terminal here, and then we're going to be reading off of these two terminals. So this is mode sensor, and this is the return. So basically what's happening is when you apply voltage to this top terminal, okay, the reading will be read across these two terminals. Okay, so depending on what the position of the transfer case is, this voltage will vary. Okay, and that's what we're going to use to determine the position of the transfer case. Okay, now to do this test, this right here on the top, the top terminal, I'm feeding it 12 volts directly to my power supply. That's 12 volts directly to the battery. Okay, now to make the reading, okay, here's my multimeter positive lead, and here's my multimeter negative lead, which also goes to the negative of my power supply, because obviously I need to complete the circuit. Okay, so again, this is the negative to my battery, my power supply, tied in with the negative of the multimeter, and this is the positive of the multimeter. Okay, so right now let me just double check what setting I'm on. Okay, so I am on 2-wheel drive right now. Sorry you can't see the other end, but 2-wheel drive right now. So I'm gonna measure the reading across those two terminals, and we have, I don't know if you can see that, about 4.3. Okay, now just give me a second here, as I have to switch this to shift the transfer case. So bear with me. I'm gonna need to use these cables. Okay, now I'm gonna shift the transfer case into 4 high. Let's do a quick shift. Okay, there's the shift. Let me double check. There's the drive shaft, front turning. Okay, now let's reconnect our 5-volt power supply. Put it up here so it doesn't fall. There's the 5-volt. And let me reconnect my multimeter to the ground. Okay, now let's take this reading. Now we're in the second setting, which is 4 high, and my voltage is, try to get it steady here, about 5.82. Okay, that's the second setting. Alright, let's go ahead and shift to neutral. Put that back there. Okay, get my ground wire shifted to neutral. Alright, there's neutral. Put the voltage back on top. Okay, get my multimeter. Let's measure the voltage again. .26. Okay, and let's shift into the last setting. My power back down to the motor terminal. Shift into the last setting. And we are on 4 low now. Put my voltage supply back to the top, to the sensor. And let's take a reading. Oh, I forgot to connect the multimeter. Okay. 8.72. So there you go. So I'll be using those voltages connected to a voltmeter or something. Maybe I'll get like an analog voltmeter, you know, that'll swing across, and what I'll do is I'll mark, you know, which areas are the proper settings. Or I saw some cool digital LED multimeters, and what I'll do is I'll mark based on the height, mark which setting is which. So that's probably what I'll be doing. And that's again for the MP1522 Command-Trac 2 transfer case.